Bruce Wolf and Dan Propel. Everybody knows Rich King, longtime Channel 9 sportscaster, worked for WBBM Radio. Before that, he's been in sports broadcasting in Chicago for about 40 years. And you may know about his story with his first wife, Maggie, a childhood sweetheart. They were married for 32 years. The last 15 years of her life, he helped her battle 3 types of cancer. Is that right, Rich?
3 different ones, yes.
Yeah, unbelievable. She was becoming blind. You went into a depression, and she died. But now this new book that you have out called Back in the Game is about your renaissance. You met this lovely woman, April, who's sitting next to you in the studio right now, and you had Jim Cornelison to sing at your wedding reception. So
That's right.
You lived happily ever after. Are we right about that?
Well, that's why I wrote the book. People, when I wrote my Maggie, obviously ended very tragically, and I thought I don't want people to think I wrote into the sunset in misery. So I wrote the book for one reason. That was one of the reasons. The other one was I thought it was a great book of hope, because I was in a depression for 6 years after Maggie died. And, on the outwardly, I was fine. I was on the air, and people have done this before. Terry Bradshaw, Mike Wallace. When you're away from home, when you're in the field working, you're fine. When you're home, it's miserable. You have an empty feeling in the pit of your stomach. And I thought, if I can share my insights, maybe somebody will be helped. I don't know. I have no answers. I'm not a doctor, but I have no answers. But I thought if I could do that, get it out there, let people see it. And I almost stopped at one point because didn't want to write about myself. My attorney says, no, put it out there. You put Maggie's life out there. Put your own life out there and see if people can relate to it and understand what happened to you. And it ended. This book ends happily because I walked into a restaurant, Valari's in Chicago, and I met this lovely lady to my right, and everything changed. And I can't explain it. It was a spiritual thing. It just knocked in. The self-pity ended, and I went out with my life and wrote this book, and I became happy again. And all the things that I had with Maggie returned to me. All the happiness and all the joy that I experienced with her is now back, and I'm so grateful. So I thought I'd share the experience.
And the Bio Milanese at Valare is excellent.
Oh,
so yeah, I would recommend that maybe next time you stop in.
Yeah, Benny's going to owe me for this.
Yeah, nice promo. So you've been a sports broadcaster and sports broadcasting for so many decades in Chicago. How much has the industry improved since Bruce Wolf was removed from it?
Bruce.
Now I'm depressed. Can you help me?
Yeah, right.
I'm very depressed right now.
Well, I did combine the two. I did combine the two stories because I wanted this to be my. I'm getting up in years. I wanted this to be a last hurrah for me because I want to thank people for watching and listening all those years. So I combined the two stories of my renaissance, so to speak, and with my career, which is 46 years. That's how old I am.
Give it up,
46.
Right,
I know.
so,
I'm trying.
April, is he a pain around the house? What is he like?
Oh, can I tell stories? No, I was asked a question what it was like to marry a legend. And the first thought that popped into my head was...
Who's that?
Yeah. So I'm not marrying Dan Roan.
That's right. That's right, Dan Roan.
Yeah, I mean, what's your golf handicap? Right?
Oh, boy. I put that line in the book. The one thing about Roan's a great guy, but he's miserable. He's so good, just a good golfer. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's terribly disgusting. So, I mean, so you helped lift this man out of depression, but is that a big burden for you to have to make sure that this guy's happy all the time?
All the time, 24/7. No, it's not at all. It's really been a great experience. And moving down here from the city, I was from Chicago and then moved to Indiana and then came back. And he's now, my daughter's 32. We have a 10-year-old granddaughter. So he's become a grandpa. We have a dog. He never had a dog before, so...
So, Rich, I mean, seriously about the depression, though. This sounds like, I'm a pop psychologist as my partner.
And a dime store.
And a dime store. That's my advanced degree, was a dime store. But, no, it's almost, it sounds clinical. It sounds like it's as a result of this traumatic, horrible, 15-year thing with your childhood sweetheart. Not something that is generated from your childhood or anything like that.
No.
I mean, is it still a day-to-day thing with you, or are you, cured?
Well, Maggie and I had such a great life together. Her life was short, but it was a sweet life. She really enjoyed her life, despite the blindness and the deafness and the 3 cancers. She had a great life. She died at 53 years old. And I went into 2 depressions, really. Watching her deteriorate with her eyes and her ears and the cancers, and seeing her die was hard, obviously. And that stayed with me it still stays with me. I'll never shake that the rest of my life. And for 6 years, I just was trying to get out of it, and it was hard. And I realized, looking back, how hard it was. And I came to grips with it when I met April, and I thought, well, you know what? You can't. People have it worse. I mean, there's people that have tons worse than I had, And Maggie be the first one to say that, and because she was a nurse. And I decided, you know, this young lady is so energetic, so full of life. Why are you feeling sorry for yourself? Get off your butt and live again. And that's what I did. I started to live again, and I've been enjoying it ever since, because you can't give up on life, and a lot of people do. I was ready to just to golf and get a condo in Florida and ride out my life and sort of a resignation of the eventuality, eventually going to die, so I think I'm just going to write it out and die that way. Then when she came into my life, everything changed around, and now I'm living again.
And what was the experience of writing this book together?
Well, it was interesting because April did provide a lot of insight, and she still is on my life. And the family angle was a good one, because Maggie and I never had kids. I became a grandpa, I became, stepfather, I became a dog owner. All this stuff changed in my life, and things I didn't have to worry about before, now I'm concerned about it. So it's a different life, and she brought it to me, and I'm very grateful she did.
Rich, enough about this. What about Bushrod not playing for the
Yeah.
Come on, let's get the priority.
Their offensive line is good enough. They're deep. They're deep. I think they can handle it. I really do.
You think they do? Well, anyway, Back in the Game is the name of the book. You wrote it with Lindsay Ennett, Dave's daughter, right? And
right.
She did a great job with
well,
that.
she meshed the two stories together, because I was trying to get the story of my career, because so near the end, and I wanted to get both angles in, and she did a great job of putting the two together. She has a great vocabulary, great writer, and I told her at the launch, I said, 5 years from now, when you're a big-time author, remember Rich King's book was the first book you had to deal with. So.
Well, Rich and April, and did Jim Cornelius sing the national anthem at your wedding?
No, he sang a love song. We brought the house up. The book is available on Amazon. It's on Kindle, right, honey? Kindle?
Yes.
Yeah. And obviously you can buy it at Eckhart's Press, too.
There we go. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Inspiration.
Appreciate
Rich
it.
King and April.